Dear listener, settle in, nestle under your favourite blanket, and let this gentle tale carry you to a place where worries fade and wonder fills the air. In the tranquil village of Windmere, nestled in the embrace of the rolling emerald hills and kissed by the whispers of a lazy brook, lived Elarion, a benevolent mage. His cottage, a tapestry of moss-covered stone and blooming lavender, stood at the edge of the village, where the hum of bees harmonized with the distant calls of the wood doves. Every morning, the sun painted his windows with golden light, and the scent of fresh bread from the village bakery wove through the crisp air. Elarion was loved by all who knew him. His magic wasn't the kind that summoned storms or forged flames. It was quiet, subtle, and kind, like the touch of a soft breeze or warming of the sunlight after rain. He tended to the village's needs, coaxing blossoms from the frost-bitten gardens, soothing colicky babes, and brewing teas that brought peace to restless minds. One morning, as the village stirred to life with the clink of milk pails and the cheerful greetings of neighbours, Elarion heard a knock at his door. When he opened it, he found young Leora, the baker's apprentice, her cheeks flushed like summer peaches. "Elarion," she said breathlessly, "the grove beyond the hills. The spring has dried up. Without it, our crops will wither. You need to help." And so the mage prepared for his journey. He packed a satchel with vials of healing herbs, a small flask of lavender oil, and a silver flute that hummed with magic. Before leaving, he paused by the brook that threaded through Windmere, letting his fingers trail through its cool, silken flow. "Guide me," he whispered, his voice blending with the murmurs of the water and wind. The path to the grove began as a sun-dappled lane, the scent of wildflowers dancing in the air. Elarion walked with deliberate steps, his staff tapping a steady rhythm on the ground. The song of the world enveloped him, the rustle of leaves overhead, the chirp of crickets hidden in the grass, and the occasional trill of a lark spiralling into the sky. As he crested the first hill, the world opened up before him. Fields of barley shimmered like waves in the breeze, and the distant forest stood like a dark green quilt draped over the land. He paused to breathe in the scent of the earth warmed by the sun, mingling with the faint tang of pine carried on the wind. Entering the forest felt like stepping into another world. Shadows played on the mossy ground, and the air was thick with the perfume of cedar and damp soil. Somewhere deeper in the woods, a stream gurgled, its melody a promise of life amidst the stillness. Elarion stopped to pick a cluster of luminescent mushrooms growing at the base of a great oak. Their glow lit his hands with a gentle blue hue, and he tucked them carefully into his satchel. The further he ventured, the quieter the forest grew, until only the soft crunch of his boots on the fallen leaves accompanied him. When at last he reached the grove, he found it as Leora described, dry and silent. The ancient spring reduced to cracked stone and dust. Elarion knelt beside the spring and placed his hands on the earth. "You are so weary," he said softly, "but your song is not forgotten." Closing his eyes, he let the sounds and scents of the forest surround him, and his magic reached into the ground like roots seeking water. As he worked, the forest began to stir. First, a faint trickle, a single drop of water sliding down the stone, and then a thin stream, clear as glass, began to flow. The air around him grew warmer, tinged with the faint sweetness of blooming flowers. He opened his eyes to see the spring bubbling once more, its water shimmering like liquid starlight. The forest came alive with gratitude. Birdsongs swelled in joyous harmony, leaves rustled in a dance with the wind, and the ground beneath his feet pulsed with renewed life. Elarion smiled and whispered, "Rest now, little grove." On his way back to Windmere, the world seemed even more vibrant. He stopped by the stream he'd heard earlier, dipping his hands into its cool embrace and splashing his face. The water tasted clean and crisp, carrying the essence of the forest itself. As he dried his hands on a patch of sunlit moss, he noticed a family of deer watching him from a distance, their eyes calm and curious. When he returned to the village, the air was filled with the scent of baking bread and the joyful chatter of the villagers. Leora ran to him, her face alight with hope. "The spring flows again," she said simply, and the weight of her worry seemed to melt away. That evening, as the village gathered under the wide, star-speckled sky, Elarion played his silver flute. The melody was soft and lilting, like the lullabies of the forest. Children lay on blankets, their eyes heavy with sleep, while adults closed their eyes, letting the music weave through their thoughts like a gentle stream. As the notes faded into the night, Elarion looked out at the peaceful village and whispered, "May your dreams be as calm as still waters, and your hearts as light as the wind." And so, dear listener, as you lie in your bed, imagine the sounds of the village, the rustling leaves, the babbling spring, and the soft, soothing song of Elarion's flute. Let the weight of your day slip away, and let your dreams carry you to a place of peace and wonder. Good night.